know a lot of y'all have been wanting some wide receiver breakdowns ever since the draft, and you're in luck. Because in this video today, I'm going to be telling y'all about a wide receiver on the Houston Roughnecks who I believe has the potential to be the next Cam Phillips of the XFL. You are not going to want to miss this breakdown. What's good, Roughnecks fans, and welcome back to the Roughnecks Analyst Podcast. I'm your host, Cullen Watkins, and ever since the XFL draft, ever since my XFL draft / Houston Roughnecks draft recap video over a month ago, I have been dying to make this video about this player in particular on the Houston Roughnecks because I believe we have a star in the making in our wide receiving group. It's not a big name. More than likely you have never heard of him, but that's what adds to the excitement. And no, he did not pay me to make this video. He did not tell me to. I've, in fact, never been in contact with this player. This entire video is based purely off of my research and what I've seen in my pure excitement, which is why I'm sharing it with you today. Who is this player? Well, Roughnecks fans and I guess XFL fans, be on the lookout for BJ Bird out of Morehead State. Now, I've been researching this guy ever since I looked at the roster first months and months ago after the very first round of drafting. And this guy stood out to me. BJ Bird stood out to me big time. First of all, his stats caught my eye. I'll tell you all the stats. And two, his film really caught my eye. And as I was making this video, I'm like, okay, this guy's sort of reminding me a bit of Cam Phillips. Now, I'm going to give y'all in this video, podcast, whatever, this hybrid that we have going here on the channel, 3 reasons why BJ Bird is my most exciting wide receiver going into the XFL season, especially for the Roughnecks. And I think this guy, no joke, has potential to lead this team in receiving. I'm not saying he is. Nothing is for certain in football, and especially spring football. But, oh boy, does he have the tools ready to go to be a leading wide receiver in this league. But of course, before I get into the 3 reasons why BJ Bird is a must-see prospect for the Houston Roughnecks, folks, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are y'all are watching it now, less than 30 days away from XFL kickoff in February. It's actually 30 days away from when I'm filming right now, but by the time you're watching it, we're getting real close to kickoff, so you don't want to miss any Roughnecks news, and I am the #1 spot for XFL Roughnecks news on YouTube, and we're different around here. We're not just a boring old podcast. We put pictures in, we put film in. We're a one-stop shop for everything Houston Roughnecks, whether it be analysis or news. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to do betting predictions, game analysis. I got you covered. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss it. But getting back into the video, yeah, BJ Bird. All right. Keep an eye out for him. So first and foremost, his accolades and stats at Morehead State. So first and foremost, a little background knowledge on Morehead State. So Morehead State is a FCS school out of, I can't remember the exact state it's out of, but out of the Pioneer League. So the Pioneer League, I believe, has a Butler's in the Pioneer League. So it's not like, it's like a little subdivision of the FCS. So it's still a great brand of football. So BJ Bird played 2 years at Morehead State, where he put up just insane numbers. And keep in mind, his first year of playing at Morehead State was the COVID year, 2020 year. So we're not even talking about his 2020 year in this. This entire video is going to be based off of his 2021 playing stats and playing year. And as soon as I read them to you, you're going to be thinking, geez, yeah, I really should be looking out for this guy. So first and foremost, In 2021, he was a All-Pioneer League first-team wide receiver. Can't beat that. He won 4 All-American awards, and he was a FCS Walter Payton Award finalist. Just in that in itself, he's a smart guy, he's a good guy, he's a hard worker, and he's a great football player. As I was researching him, looking at some interviews he did, he's emphasizes hard work a lot, and I respect that. That's what we need on this team, right? But now let me get into the stats, because this is when we start really looking, this is when he starts looking really, really good, and this is when we start getting excited. So in 2021, he had 90 receptions on the season, okay? 1,313 reception yards, and 13 touchdowns caught. He led the Pioneer Football League with 8 100-plus yard games. You can say whatever you want about, FCS versus FBS, Division I, whatever. You can say all that. If you put up over 1,300 yards, you're a very good football player. And 13 touchdowns too, yeah, you're really good. Oh, you're really good. Man, 8 100-plus yard receiving games. This guy was talented. He was a number 1 wide receiver at Morehead State, clearly, if you put up those numbers. And get this, too. In his 2021 season, he became the all-time single-season record holder for, I believe, reception yards, and touchdowns at Morehead State in a single season. In a single season he was. And get this, he only played 2 years at Morehead State. Imagine if he played all 4. Imagine. He would have been the all-time career leader given those numbers. And that's one reason, that's technically the first reason why I like him so much, because his accolades and stats. That's so impressive to me. He is used to getting the ball and putting up great numbers. Listen to this. One of the games he had, it was against a college called Stetson. I think I've heard of it before. Against Stetson in 2021, he put up 223 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns in a single game. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. 4 touchdowns and 223 receiving yards? That's Madden. He's playing Madden out there on rookie difficulty. He's just burning guys and he's catching everything. So my number 1 reason why I'm excited about B.J. Bird, his stats and his accolades, oh boy, do they look real good. They look real, real nice. Second reason why, I just am so excited about B.J. Bird. He just does so many things good. Not even good. So many things just great. Great's a better word to use. So why do I like him? What am I talking about? And here are my notes that I wrote down watching his film. And he even admits himself. If you look at his tapes, look at his highlights, you see his breakaway speed. Now, he has great speed. He's a very fast guy. Breakaway speed when he either gets the ball or to create space on defenders. That's clearly neat. I don't need to go into any more explanation on that. That's what you need from a wide receiver. He has a breakaway speed. That's real exciting, especially in the Roughnecks air raid offense. And honestly, I think this is my favorite thing about him, his catch in traffic capabilities. You look at his stats. Well, his stats show it, but his highlights, you look at his highlights, you look at his film, his tape, you will see he can catch the ball in traffic. 2-3 defenders around him. He's coming down with the ball, and I think this sort of goes into my next point I wrote about him of why I like him so much, his physical traits and attributes. He just seems magnetic to the ball, whether it's be diving for balls, whether it's his hands just magically just going to the ball with 3 defenders around him and being able to hold onto it and pull it down. He is magnetic to the ball in every single way he attacks the ball. He also creates space. Oh boy, does he create space. He does. When he doesn't have the ball, he is creating that space for that quarterback to read and say, he has enough room, let me give it to him. So very good with creating space as well. And two, another thing I noticed in his highlights as well is that on screenplays, like wide receiver screenplays, he would fight for some yards. He reminded me a lot of Cam Phillips in that way. He would fight for that extra 1 or 2 yards, and would be the difference, and it will be the difference between a 4th down and a 1st down. You know, that's the difference between a 4th and out drive versus a touchdown drive. That games can be decided on just those few yards on those screen plays, and every single piece of film I've seen about him, he fights well in the screen position. So I'm also really excited about that too. And all of those things sort of remind me of Cam Phillips in 2020. He sort of possessed all those things. And two, another thing about BJ Bird, he is actually, at Morehead State, he is actually a kick returner. He would return kicks and he would play special teams. So that might come in handy too, even though we do have a lot of special teams guys on the Roughnecks roster. BJ Bird is an option if worse comes to worse. Now, third and final reason why y'all should be, hyped up and excited about BJ Bird. So I already gave y'all his stats and accolades. I gave y'all his physical attributes that I just love, and I'm showing y'all the film right now. My third reason why you should be excited about BJ Bird. His similarities with Cam Phillips, I found, are very interesting. He is pretty much the same build of a wide receiver as Cam Phillips was. Sort of that 6-foot wide receiver range, considered a undersized wide receiver in the NFL, but clearly we saw in the XFL in 2020, Cam Phillips, there was nothing undersized about him. He was a playmaker. He made plays work. And that's what I'm expecting BJ Bird to do this year. We proved it in college. We see the stats. You look at the film, he clearly has the talent. And now when you see his comparisons with Cam Phillips, I almost said Wade Phillips as our coach. But you see his comparisons with Cam Phillips, and you start to get real excited. So, like I said in my notes here, I have, look at the highlights. They both have eerily similar highlights with each other. I'm going to play them right now. So some plays that when I was watching BJ Bird, I'm like, wait a minute. I saw Cam Phillips made those type of plays. And I'm sure as y'all are watching it right now, it's so fun to watch. They're like the exact same plays, exact same throw, exact same place on the field. So that's real exciting because BJ Bird is a playmaker. He makes catches in the traffic. He creates space when he doesn't have the ball. When he does have the ball, he is a playmaker. And of course, too, like I said earlier, the height and weight. I mixed up weight and height. His height and weight are also very similar with Cam Phillips. So that's exciting too because they're so similar to each other. But I also wrote down, is BJ Bird a better athlete than Cam Phillips was? I know being an athlete doesn't really matter a lot, like, physical size. Technically it doesn't matter. You look at Devontae Smith in college and the NFL, I guess. But yeah, is BJ Bird a better athlete than Cam Phillips was? Now, I'm not going to give you an exact answer, but I will give y'all some evidence to make y'all's own decision. Just some food for thought, BJ Bird possessed a faster 40 time. Not by too much, I believe, but still faster. So a faster 40 time, 40 sprint. He is used in special teams, while Cam Phillips, I believe, was not. And two, you look at the college stats, And BJ Bird's are way more eye-popping. Now, you may, because Cam Phillips went to Virginia Tech, so that's FCS versus FBS. So you can, debate and argue about that. I'm just giving you all the stats. We could argue, is BJ Bird a better athlete than Cam Phillips? So that's just some food for thought for y'all as y'all are thinking about this guy. But that's the 3 reasons why y'all should be excited about BJ Bird because, guys, I am so hyped for BJ Bird, and as I said earlier, if something happens, I don't want y'all coming back to this video and saying, he didn't live up to the Cam Phillips expectations. I am just saying that from what I've seen, I think he has what it takes. There's something about this guy, BJ Bird, that's telling me he's special. Something about him, so keep an eye out for him. Even if he doesn't make a big impact in week 1 or week 2, anything can happen, one injury, one lineup change, and we could see BJ Bird in action. Now, I do understand, too, that the Roughnecks have a very talented wide receiving core, so it's probably going to be hard for BJ Bird to get those throws and opportunities early on, but give him the opportunity, give BJ Bird the chance, and he will make us happy. Both the fans happy and the coaches happy. So, if you enjoyed this video, if you sort of enjoyed these player spotlights, player profiles, I have way more I could do. A lot of these players on this team are really exciting me. And I'm not going to make this type of video on every player, but only the ones that have really caught my eye. And there's going to be people in the season that are going to prove me wrong, saying, yeah, why didn't you have your eye on me in the offseason? But I'm ready to get disproven as part of the job, So if you did enjoy this video, though, like I said, please hit that like button. And, of course, like I said at the beginning of the video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any analysis, post-game analysis during the season, betting predictions, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. You don't want to miss it. If you're a Roughnecks fan, you are literally... this is literally the place to be if you're a Roughnecks fan on YouTube. No other channel is doing what we're doing, so sorry you have no other choice. You got to. This is the channel you want. But folks, I hope you have a great and wonderful day. We're excited. XFL football very soon, less than a month. Can't wait. Thank you so much for watching. Go Roughnecks, baby. I'll see you next time. Woo!